The molten scarlet sun dipped below the horizon of Terra Prime, casting elongated shadows across the barren landscape. Commander Jace Ryder leaned back in his chair, a well-worn book of poetry resting on his lap. He loved the way the words danced across the pages, igniting his imagination far beyond this troubled world. A sudden chime interrupted his reverie, the holographic display on his desk flickering to life. The face of Captain Alara Kane appeared, her features sharp and serious against the backdrop of the military base. "Ryder," she began, cutting straight to the chase. "You're needed at the starport ASAP. Can't a man enjoy his poetry in peace?" Jay smirked, closing the book reluctantly. "What's the emergency this time?" "The Arcanes Federation is reaching out for help. Princess Leia herself has requested a warrior from our ranks," Alara replied, her brown eyes narrowing slightly as she assessed his reaction. "And they want you." "Me?" Jace's laughter broke the tension. "You've got to be kidding. I'm not exactly the warrior type. You've led men in battle, Jace. They know your record. This isn't just a diplomatic mission, it's a plea for strength against the Thalorian Empire. They need someone who can think on their feet and hold a rifle." "Great," he sighed, running a hand through his tousled brown hair. "So, what? I show up with my rifle and start quoting Shakespeare." "Better than showing up with just flowery words," Alara shot back, a slight grin cracking her stern facade. "Get serious, or you'll be packing poetry into the frontline trenches." With a final glance at his book, Jace rose, the weight of his duty settling over him like a heavy cloak. He donned his uniform, dark blue with silver accents, and grabbed his trusty laser rifle, resting it comfortably against his shoulder. The starport was abuzz with activity. Engineers hustled by, cargo ships hovered in the air, and the atmosphere was electric. Jace's heart raced as he approached the gleaming ship that would take him to the Arcanes Federation. A tall figure in ornate attire stood at the entrance, flanked by 2 guards. Princess Leia was even more breathtaking in person. Her teal skin shimmered under the lights, adorned with intricate designs that seemed to pulse softly. Her feather-like hair floated around her, framing a face that melded strength with grace. "Commander Ryder," she greeted, her voice smooth like silk. "Thank you for coming." "Princess Leia, it's an honor," he said, trying to quell his nerves. "I assume you need a warrior to fight the Thalorian Empire?" "Indeed," she replied, her gaze piercing. "But I seek more than just brute strength. I need someone who understands the weight of words, the power of connection." "Ah, so you've heard I'm a poet," he said, smirking. "I write to soothe the restless heart and not to swing a sword. Where's the fun in that?" Leia tilted her head, a hint of a smile on her lips. "You'd be surprised. Sometimes the most potent weapon is the one least expected." "Let's hope my poetry isn't my only line of defense then," he nodded, sarcasm lacing his tone. "Wit is an admirable trait, Commander. But in the face of diplomacy, it can be life-saving." She gestured for him to enter the ship. "Come aboard. We have much to discuss." The interior of the ship was sleek and modern, filled with advanced technology that Jace could hardly comprehend. As they moved toward the command center, Leia explained the situation. "The Thalorian Empire has been encroaching upon our borders. Their tactics are brutal and relentless. I'm here to persuade other civilizations to stand with us against this threat," she said, her brow furrowing. "But they do not trust us alone. They require proof of strength. Let me guess, they think humans are just brawn without brains?" Jace offered, leaning against a console. "Not all, but some," Leia admitted. "Your reputation precedes you. They think humanity is a race of warriors. To some extent, they're not entirely wrong. But we need to show them that trust can be built through unity and not through force. I believe you can help articulate this." "I can give it a shot," Jace replied, scratching his chin thoughtfully. "But you have to promise I won't be turned into an interstellar soldier. I prefer to stay a poet, even if that means slinging a rifle now and then." "You have my word," Leia said, her expression earnest. "You will be my advisor. Together we will navigate the delicate landscape of diplomacy." Just as they settled into their strategy discussions, the ship's sensors echoed a warning. The lights flickered briefly, and Leia's calm demeanor shifted to urgency. "What is it?" Jace asked, instinctively straightening. "Something isn't right. It appears we're being tracked," Leia replied, her eyes narrowing as she focused on the screen. "Can't be too surprising. The Thalorian spies are everywhere, aren't they?" Leia nodded grimly. "Yes, they often appear when least expected. However, we cannot show fear. I need you to be ready." "I'm always ready," he interrupted confidently. "Perhaps less ready for battle and more ready for conversation, but I'll hold my own." A sudden crash reverberated through the ship. Jace ran toward the nearest window, eyes wide as he spotted a small Thalorian vessel tailing them closely. "Looks like our uninvited guests have arrived," he said, bracing himself. What's our plan? Evade for now. We have to get to the negotiation planet undetected. But the moment we land, I'll charm them with my poetry? Jace quipped, a smile creeping back onto his face despite the danger. Precisely, Leah replied, a glimmer of amusement in her eyes. We will use every tool at our disposal. The ship jolted as it entered hyperspace. Jace looked over at Leah, his heart pounding, not from fear, but exhilaration. He realized that this mission would involve more than just warfare. It would be about connection and partnership. Princess Leah, Jace began, taking a deep breath, I promise to give this my all. But let's remember, if we ever find ourselves in a tight spot, I'm a poet first and a warrior second. Then let's make this journey worth every word, Leah replied, her smile radiant. As they hurtled through the stars, Jace felt a sense of adventure growing within him. Together, they would write their own saga across the cosmos, a tale woven not just in battle, but in the beauty of understanding. Chapter 2, The Meeting. The sleek Arcanes ship glided gracefully through the cosmos, the dark expanse dotted with stars that twinkled like distant memories. Jace stood at a viewport watching as colors ebbed and flowed around them, feeling the rush of the journey in his veins. Earth must seem like quite the quaint little planet, Leah said, joining him, her voice soft yet filled with curiosity. What's it like, living on a world so green? It's beautiful, Jace replied, his gaze fixed on the endless sky. Mountains, rivers, forests. It's a different kind of majesty than what you see up here. You know where I'm from, we have this line, the mountains are calling and I must go. Sounds poetic, Leah said, her amber eyes glinting with interest. I suppose you've written something about it? Of course, he grinned. How could I resist? Share it with me. I'm intrigued, she encouraged, leaning closer. Jace hesitated, clearing his throat. All right, let's see. It goes something like this. In lofty peaks where whispers soar, asterisk. The heart finds peace forevermore, asterisk. Each breeze a song, each stone a spark, asterisk. In nature's arms I leave my mark, asterisk. Leah smiled, her face lighting up. That was beautiful. You're quite skilled with words. Thanks. But I feel like I'm just a lullaby in the face of a storm, no match for an urgent call to arms, he chuckled, running a hand through his hair. Maybe we can weave the two together, Leah suggested. Strength through understanding. Force through empathy. What do you mean? Jace asked, his interest piqued. She gestured toward the star-specked void. Maybe we can craft a message that embodies both strength and unity. When we arrive at Garanth, where our negotiations will take place, we will showcase exactly that. Together, we can show that the Arcanes Federation and humanity stand as one. The power of collaboration, huh? I like that idea, Jace said, nodding. But how do we get the others to see it? Through conversation. Articulating our goals while presenting our unique cultures, Leah answered. We can start by inviting them to share their stories, just as you shared yours. We must make them feel included, valued. Wow. That's some master-level diplomacy there, Jace replied, impressed. You're a natural for this. Leah tilted her head, a playful glint in her eye. And you thought it was all sword fights and explosions? Not gonna lie. There is some appeal to that, he shot back with a grin. Perhaps, but let's try this first, she said, smirking back. And who knows? Maybe we can work in a laser duel or two later. They shared a laugh, which lingered in the air like a shared secret. Just then, the ship's systems chimed, indicating their approach to Garanth. As the destination drew near, they went over strategy and crafted a plan amid swirling ideas and hopeful visions. The ship emerged from hyperspace and Garanth appeared, a breathtaking planet cloaked in vibrant hues and floating landmasses. Absolutely stunning, Jace breathed, his eyes wide. Do you often have to negotiate on such beautiful worlds? Only when I'm lucky, Leah replied, stepping closer to the viewport. But remember, beauty can mask danger. We must stay vigilant. As they descended, the ship landed smoothly on a landing platform draped with flags of various alien factions. A welcome committee awaited them, humanoid figures dressed in elegant robes adorned with artifacts from their home worlds. Here we go, Jace said, straightening his posture. Showtime. Leah nodded, her expression serious yet hopeful. No matter the outcome, remember, together we are strong. Stepping off the ship, Jace took in the diverse crowd. Diplomats, warriors, and artists merged into a tapestry of culture. The mix was dazzling, yet Jace felt a sense of unease twist in his stomach. A tall alien with luminescent skin stepped forward, bowing his head slightly. Welcome, Princess Leah of the Arcanes Federation, he intoned. And welcome to you, Commander Rider of Earth. I am Malith, emissary of the Conthari Alliance. Thank you, Malith, Leah said, her voice warm but firm. We come in hopes of forming a strong coalition. Coalition? Malith interrupted. A bold claim considering the history between our races. Many remember the scars that the Thalorians have left behind. Jace took a step forward, feeling the weight of the room on his shoulders. Yes, there's a lot of history. But isn't that what this gathering is about? Overcoming our past? The other delegates exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Why should we trust you? What can humankind offer us? A sharp voice cut through the air. It was a petite, green-skinned creature with jewel-like eyes. Your reputation is one of conflict, not peace. Fair enough. But I'd argue that we've also shown resilience in our quest for understanding. Jace shot back, trying to control his nerves. If we seek to unite, we must start by sharing our truths, our cultures. And poetry? The green-skinned alien quipped, a smirk forming. Absolutely, Jace smiled, emboldened by Leah's encouraging presence. Art has always been a window into the soul. It can bridge gaps that even the fiercest weapon cannot. Leah seized the moment. Yes. Rather than seeing our differences as barriers, let us view them as stepping stones to a shared future. Unity can come from understanding. We can learn from one another. Maleth nodded slowly, a contemplative expression crossing his features. Interesting proposition. But mere words are not enough. We need tangible commitments. Jace felt the challenge in the air like static electricity. He turned to Leah, who was contemplating the situation intently. What if we hosted an open forum? She suggested. A festival of sorts where each culture can showcase their strengths, art, cuisine, stories. It can serve to familiarize our people beyond mere politics. The crowd shifted, skeptical expressions shifting to intrigued glances. A festival? Maleth echoed, raising an eyebrow. Curious. Your idea holds merit. Exactly. Let's create a space where we come together not just as delegates, but as friends. Jace chimed in, his voice gaining momentum. It could be a chance for everyone to connect on a more human level, or an Arcanes level. Leah beamed. And as we gather, we can outline our shared goals and determine our paths moving forward. All right? Maleth said slowly, a slight smile playing on his lips. Let's put this to the test. A festival under the stars it is. As conversations began to bubble, enthusiasm building within the crowd, Jace felt a newfound camaraderie blossoming. Their initial doubts began to wear away. Leah turned to him, her expression genuine. You did well. You have a knack for connecting. Couldn't have done it without you, Jace replied, feeling a spark of gratitude mixed with pride. Looks like we might just weave our own story here. Let's continue this journey together, Leah said softly, her gaze steady. Yes, let's, Jace echoed, his heart alight with the possibilities that lay before them. Together, they would navigate the intricacies of culture, craft a new narrative, and perhaps even find friendship, and more, among the stars. Chapter 3. The Unlikely Alliance. The festival on Garanth was a tapestry of vibrant colors and enticing aromas. Stalls filled with exotic foods lined the streets, while musicians played hauntingly beautiful melodies that resonated through the air. Jace strolled beside Leah, soaking in the atmosphere, a smile gracing his lips. Look at this place, he marveled. It's incredible. I thought diplomacy was all boring meetings and paperwork. Leah giggled, her laughter ringing like chimes. That's the old way. We're carving a new path. Today, we show them the joys of collaboration. They approached a stall showcasing Arcanes delicacies. The vendor, an elderly alien with shimmering skin, smiled brightly. Welcome. Would you like to try some Zelon fruit? It's a favorite among my people. Are they as sweet as they look? Jace inquired, eyeing the radiant fruit. Even sweeter, the vendor affirmed, offering them a platter. Here, take a bite. Jace and Leah exchanged glances before taking a piece each. Jace bit into the fruit, its flavor bursting on his tongue. He couldn't help but grin. Wow, this is amazing, he exclaimed, juices trickling down his chin. Leah laughed, playfully wiping at the corner of his mouth with her finger. Let's hope the delegates enjoy it as much. Is it normal for diplomats to eat like this? Jace teased, swallowing the fruit. Normally, yes. They'd be much more reserved, Leah admitted, her smile fading slightly. But I thought a more relaxed atmosphere might ease tensions. Relaxing is my specialty. Jace grinned. Besides, I think all the delegates are warming up to the festival idea. Just then, a familiar figure emerged from the crowd, Malith. Behind him walked several delegates, their robes billowing and expressions animated. Commander Ryder. Princess Leia. Malith called, hovering closer. I see you've embraced our traditions. Only the best for this remarkable gathering, Jace replied with a wink. How are the others reacting? Curiosity is in the air, Malith outlined, glancing around. Some are eager, others remain skeptical. Such skepticism won't break this event, Leia asserted, her confidence returning. We'll win them over by showing them the beauty of our cultures. Malith nodded. Your enthusiasm might just tip the scales. What's first on our agenda? Jace asked, scanning the crowd for any signs of trouble. Each faction will present their contributions throughout the day, Malith explained. But first, we've organized a collaborative art project. Each culture will contribute to a tapestry which signifies unity. Now that's something I can get behind, Jace chuckled. What do you need from us? Participation, Malith replied, motioning toward a large blank canvas set up in the center of the marketplace. Art? I guess my drawing skills should have stayed in the classroom, Jace muttered, half serious. Leia nudged him playfully. When has art ever required perfection? Fair point, he conceded, a grin creeping onto his face. As they approached the canvas, various groups already gathered, colors flying as paint splashed and laughter floated through the air. Let's get creative, Jace said, rolling up his sleeves, joining a group of enthusiastic delegates surrounding the canvas. They brought out brushes dipped in vibrant colors. Hours flew by as they painted. Alien artists, towering and small, swirled colors together on the canvas. Jace found himself lost in the rhythm of creativity and laughter echoed around him. Add some flair to it, Leia exclaimed as she expertly layered different hues. It's about joy. Joy, huh? Jace pondered, dipping his brush into a bright blue. Wouldn't it be a shame to lose that in the negotiations? That's the spirit, Leia encouraged, her eyes sparkling. We're creating moments that matter. Jace added intricate designs around the edges with hints of words flowing from his brush. How about a line from one of my poems, he suggested, writing it carefully before stepping back to admire their work. What does it say? Leia asked, tipping her head. It says, asterisk, together we rise, undeterred by the winds of our past. Asterisk, beautiful. I love how you translated that, Leia said softly, and Jace felt his heart flutter with appreciation. Their laughter continued while the delegated painted vibrant strokes, infusing their culture into the piece. Amid the swirling colors, Jace caught sight of a familiar green-skinned alien he had met earlier looking wary. Hey, Leia, mind if I check in with that delegate? Jace asked, nodding toward the person. Of course. I'll keep painting, she replied, her focus returning to the canvas. Jace approached the alien, his demeanor friendly. Mind if I join you for a moment? I noticed you looked hesitant at the festival. The delegate looked up, surprised but intrigued. It's just unusual for us. Festivals usually hide ulterior motives. I get that, but we're here to build something real, Jace said earnestly. What if this isn't about motives at all? The green-skinned alien paused, creating what looked like a geometric pattern with subtle strokes of color. It's hard to believe, though. Alliances can easily fall apart. Maybe, Jace replied, but lasting connections are built on trust. I believe if we take the leap, we might just surprise ourselves. Interesting perspective, the delegate said slowly, slightly warming up. Trust is paramount. Maybe I can give this a chance. Together, we can turn this skepticism into something beautiful, Jace encouraged, glancing back toward Leia, where she laughed as she added another layer of color to their shared canvas of unity. Returning to the larger group, Jace found Leia still at work, her energy magnetic. As he joined her, he felt a surge of inspiration. I spoke with them, Jace said, excitement heavy. LL about sharing our stories, Jace replied, feeling a sense of pride swell within him at their efforts. This tapestry isn't just paint, it's our futures intertwined. As more delegates came together, Jace caught glance after glance of appreciation. He realized, in humility, that making this festival had become more than mere strategy, it had evolved into a genuine effort for understanding. As the sun began to set, casting a brilliant hue over Garanth, the tapestry was nearly complete, with laughter ringing through the air. Ready to show them the next step? Leia asked, her gaze steady and aimed at the thriving crowd. I was born ready, Jace joked, feeling the exhilaration of their venture course through him. Together, we'll create something they'll never forget. And for the first time since their journey began, Jace felt a spark of belief ignite within, a connection he never hoped to find, all because they chose to join hands under an alien sky. Chapter 4, A Dangerous Game. The sun dipped low on Garanth, painting the horizon in shades of mauve and gold, the festival now in full swing. Music filled the air, blending harmoniously with excited laughter and chatter. Standing amid the vibrant stalls, Jace felt a rush of satisfaction. The tapestry of unity was nearly complete. Look at them, Leah said, gazing at the delegates mingling and enjoying themselves. For the first time, they seemed connected not just by duty but by genuine interest. It's amazing what a little fun can do, Jace replied, grinning. And who knew I'd be a part of something this grand? Your words matter. They resonate with them, Leah emphasized, her eyes sparkling. You have a unique gift. Thanks, but you're the one who organized this masterpiece, Jace said, nudging her playfully. I'm just trying to keep up. Just then, Maleth approached, an urgent expression on his face. We need to talk. I've heard troubling whispers. What kind of whispers? Leah asked, concern creeping into her tone. There are some who remain unconvinced about our collaboration, particularly within the Thalorian faction. They think this festival is a facade, Maleth stated, his eyes darting to the surrounding crowd. We need to ensure that everyone feels included, or we may face hostility. I figured some would be resistant, Jay said. But we can't control everyone's feelings. We can't, but we can try to soften their apprehensions, Maleth countered. I suggest we invite the Thalorian leaders to speak. Show everyone that we're willing to include everyone in the conversation. Yeah, but what if they don't want to engage? Jace asked, crossing his arms. They may just want to stir trouble. Then we'll confront it heathen, Leah replied firmly. We won't back down. Let's have a meeting then, Maleth decided. We can address their concerns and hopefully they'll present a united front with us. Good plan, Jace agreed. When do you want to do this? Now, Maleth urged. The longer we wait, the more rumors will spread. All right, lead the way, Jace said, falling in line behind Leah and Maleth. As they made their way through the bustling crowd, Jace's heart raced. He felt as if they were all walking into a den of lions. The trio reached a secluded area, where the Thalorian leaders were gathered, their relaxed demeanor contrasting with the tension Jace felt. The leaders were regal, their skin shimmering with metallic hues, bound in elaborate patterns that shifted under the light. Maleth, one of the leaders, a tall figure named Valen, nodded in acknowledgement. What brings you here with the princess and the human? We wish to discuss our ongoing collaboration, Maleth stated, his voice steady. We are aware of the skepticism surrounding the festival, and I believe it is vital that we address it openly. Valen raised an eyebrow. You mean the skepticism surrounding potential betrayal? You think a festival will mask our history? That sounds naive. Jace stepped forward purposefully. I understand that trust takes time. We aren't here to manipulate. We genuinely want to build a future. Is that so? Valen replied coolly. How can you expect us to trust a race known for its skirmishes and wars? Trust isn't given. It's earned. We can start by having an honest conversation about our fears and concerns, Jace offered, trying to keep his tone respectful yet firm. We're willing to listen, and we want you to share your truths. Very well. Then let's talk, Valen said, his posture relaxing slightly. But know this, we will not stand idly by should our nations be betrayed. We don't want that, Leah chimed in earnestly. We need to understand each other. This festival was intended to foster trust, not to hide deceit. Why should we involve ourselves in a gathering that feels like mere entertainment? Another Thalorian delegate interjected, his expression skeptical. What is the true goal behind these festivities? The goal is to bring our cultures together, Jace stepped in. We invite you to join us, to share your narratives, your art, and to find common ground. Valen studied him closely. Your willingness to communicate intrigues me, but assurances mean nothing without actions to back them up. We're prepared to commit, Leah stated with conviction. Together, we can create agreements that honor all our peoples. A festival can be the starting point for something much greater. Perhaps, Valen admitted, crossing his arms. But you must acknowledge that we have scars that are not easily healed. I get it. I really do, Jace said, his voice steady. And we'll do our part to prove our intentions. Valen paused, weighing their words. Very well. I will agree to share our narrative at the festival. But I will expect openness from you in return. Consider it a deal, Jace replied, relief washing over him. We appreciate the chance to mend fences. Let's meet at dusk. The tapestry should be unveiled by then, Valen instructed. As they stepped away from the Thalorian delegation, Jace turned to Leah and Maleth. That could have gone worse. True, Leah said, her relief evident. We managed to initiate dialogue, and that's the first step. Maleth nodded, though he remained cautious. But they will be watching closely. We've opened a door, but it is fragile. Let's use that to our advantage, Jace said, newfound enthusiasm sparking within him. We build momentum. If we can draw others to our side, we might even sway the skeptical. Let's focus, Leah said, her voice steady. We're a team. We'll do this together. Together, Jace affirmed, glancing around at the vibrant energy of the festival. I believe in what we're creating. As the sun began its descent, the atmosphere transformed. It felt as though magic hung in the air, the festival alive with energy. Jace watched as delegates drifted toward the tapestry, eager to see the results of their collaboration. Are you ready? Leah asked, her eyes sparkling with both excitement and anxiety. Ready as I'll ever be, he replied, adjusting his stance. No backing down now. Leah took a deep breath, determination glowing in her expression. We'll show them what unity looks like. Stepping toward the gathered crowd, they approached the tapestry, still unfinished but already a vibrant expression of their unity. With colors representing Earth, the Arcanes Federation, and the Thalorian culture overlapping seamlessly, Jace felt a swell of pride and hope. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, his voice amplifying through the air. Tonight, we unveil a representation of our journey together. This tapestry is not merely fabric, it is a story, a tale waiting to be woven, one that is ours to define as allies. He paused, scanning the crowd's faces, gathering his thoughts. Today, we took steps to bridge divides. We can change history, not with weapons, but with creativity and collaboration. Let's honor our past by building a better future. Applause erupted from the crowd, and Jace felt a rush of exhilaration. They were taking steps closer to where they wanted to go. Together, we shall navigate the uncertain future ahead, Leah added, her voice strong beside his. Let our union be defined not by what separates us but by what connects us. With the start of a new chapter unfolding, Jace took Leah's hand, feeling her warmth. As they stood united before the tapestry, he felt a shift, a blossoming of possibility wherein their collective voices and stories could overcome any challenges ahead. And in that moment, nothing felt dangerous, everything felt right. Chapter 5, The Heart of the Matter. The tapestry stood before them, glimmering under the soft light of Garen's moons, a kaleidoscope of color and culture. The crowd gathered in hushed anticipation, their eyes on Jace and Leah as they prepared to speak again. I think this is it, Jace said, glancing at Leah. This is the moment that could change everything. Just remember to breathe, she replied, squeezing his hand tight. We'll take it one step at a time. Jace took a deep breath, soaking in the atmosphere that held both tension and excitement. He turned to the crowd, a mix of delegates and curious citizens, some still skeptical but many outwardly enthusiastic about the festival. Thank you all for gathering here this evening, Jace began, his voice steady. What you see before you is not just a tapestry. It's a symbol of our collaboration, a reflection of the colors, stories, and cultures that each of us represents. A delegate from the Thalorian faction stepped forward, arms crossed. And how do we know this tapestry isn't just a pretty facade? We have seen promises before that were never fulfilled. Fair point, Jace replied, unfazed by the challenge. But the beauty of art lies in its power to reflect the truths we might not express in words. This tapestry represents our commitment to each other, our willingness to embrace our differences, and our desire for unity. Leah stepped forward, her presence commanding yet warm. Indeed, the threads woven here are not just colors, they are stories of our histories, our struggles, and our dreams. Hand in hand, we have created something that speaks of possibility. Valen, the Thalorian leader, narrowed his eyes. Words are meaningless without action. You propose unity, but how do we ensure this will last beyond one festival? We're prepared to back our words with concrete plans, Jace replied confidently, catching Leah's nod of approval. We would like to establish ongoing dialogues through cultural exchanges where each faction shares aspects of their heritage, art, science, culinary traditions. A murmur rippled through the crowd. What does Earth cuisine entail? A young Thalorian asked, her curiosity piqued. It's diverse, to say the least, Jace grinned. From savory stews to sweet desserts, we have a wide range of flavors. Imagine having a festival dedicated solely to food where we can share dishes from all our cultures. Food brings people together, Leah added, her enthusiasm infectious. It's universal. Sharing a meal has the power to break down barriers. Would you be willing to host such an event on our world? A delegate from a neighboring planet inquired. Absolutely, Jace replied, feeling the excitement build within him. We can create a cultural exchange program that rotates among our territories. We'll learn from one another while tasting delicious food. Perhaps we can also establish an art committee, Valen suggested, his voice steady. To maintain the tapestry, letting it evolve as our relationships do. I love that idea, Leah exclaimed, leaning into the moment. We can introduce various art forms from dance to music to poetry, showcasing both our cultures so we continue to learn and grow together. As long as the exchanges are voluntary, another delegate chimed in, her tone thoughtful. People shouldn't feel forced to share. It has to come from genuine interest. Agreed, Jay said, nodding. The intention must be clear. We're not here to impose but to invite. If we can show the value in what each culture brings to the table, the willingness to participate will follow. A rising energy began to pulse through the crowd, with whispers of agreement flowing like a river of possibility. Jace glanced at Leah, who beamed with pride. So, Valen began again, this festival can be the inception of many future events. But we need commitment from all factions. Are we all willing to invest in this collaboration? Count me in, a member from the Arcanes Federation raised her hand enthusiastically. I've enjoyed every moment so far. I'll represent my faction, the young Thalorian chimed in, her confidence growing. This transparency feels refreshing. With action comes trust, and I'm willing to take that leap, came another voice, this one from a nearby planet's delegate. As more voices joined in, Jace felt his heart swell. Look at this. We're choosing to build connections. Together, we can lay the groundwork for relationships that extend beyond politics, Leah added. We must commit to seeking understanding, not division. But there are still those who may resist, Valen cautioned, glancing toward the edges of the crowd where several delegates remained uncertain. Of course, Jace acknowledged. But if we approach them with kindness, educate them about our intentions, they may come around. Kindness. It does go a long way, Valen agreed, his tone softer now. We have a history of mistrust, but perhaps it's time to shift that narrative. As the night wore on, the crowd began to dissolve, conversations sparked and ideas flowing. Jace and Leah shared smiles, feeling the warmth of connection spreading around them. I can't believe how far we've come, Jace said, glancing at Leah. Not too long ago, we were standing on different sides of a battle line, unsure if we could bridge the gap. And now look at us, she replied, leaning against the canvas. We've opened the way to so much more. Suddenly, a familiar figure approached Malith, a glint of pride in his eyes. You two have accomplished something remarkable tonight. The tapestry is only the beginning. Jace chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. Just don't expect us to fix everything overnight. Don't worry. Nothing worthwhile is ever simple, Malith said, his grin widening. But you've laid a foundation. Let's keep building. Together, Leah emphasized with a nod, her hand brushing against Jace's. As the stars twinkled across the Garant sky, Jace felt a surge of hope and excitement for the work that lay ahead. It was about more than forging alliances, it was about creating friendships, relationships that would allow them to explore the universe together. Before long, their friends and allies returned, their spirits lifted. Conversations continued, laughter rang out, and under the canopy of stars, Jace and Leah stood at the heart of something beautiful. Ready for another challenge? Jace asked, stealing a glance at Leah. Always, she replied, her eyes dancing with determination. Together, they felt that full circle had begun. This journey was far from over, it was only just beginning.